Hello, and welcome back to the arcade. My name is Sean, as always, and this, as you can see, has been built up a little bit. We actually finished building up Bridgewater on stream, and it's become quite the little quest hub, with a total of 25 quests in this area. Now, I've went through and did a little bit of naming. This village is the Whispering Pines Bay. Well, a small little fishing village with a fish market called the Tide Row. The Salt Rights Shed, where nets, boat repairs, and such can be done. The Salty Fern, a nearby tavern. A blacksmith named the Emberline Forge. The Driftwood Hall, where meetings for a town hall and everything can be had. A Riot Aid, which is owned by Sithis Riotcap, one of our watchers and followers on Twitch. And the Driftwood Hearth. And that makes up the small little village here. I'd say it came out pretty nice. Then, we also have Spore Shadows Hollow, a small myconid town, or village, with Spore's Rest, Pebble and Thorn, the Spindleroot Curios, the Singing Puffball, and the Spore and Mortar. The Singing Puffball actually has a micro ale brewed from fermented sap and mushroom extracts. We just gave everything a little bit of flavor text, kind of help start fleshing out some of the world. And lastly, we did go ahead and build ourselves a military fort with Dwarven Waystone. We have the barracks, the armory, the quartermaster. This is my attempt at building a little bit of a kind of obstacle course, which people can watch other people do. There's an archery range that you can go in and shoot archery at. Wilderness survival area. And then just another wilderness survival area. Now, there are actually two ways to get into Bridgewater. Well, the one you know of is through the Gilded Fields and going through the Ice Gem. Ice Gem Caves. And that is one way to get into Bridgewater. And you'd end up actually showing up according to this town here. Or you can take a flight path from either of the starting regions, either one, to get in. Yeah. It'll actually fly you into here. Let's see if we have anyone coming in, actually. Paths. Someone flying in there. We do have someone flying in. Oh, gotta change to interact. Maybe? Can I not click on it? There we go, it just wasn't loaded in. And then we go to focus. We'll take it at double speed. Oh. That's not good. This guy is, for one reason or another, freaking out. But this would show you. There we go. Kind of. Oh, lines through the trees. We're supposed to. We'll have to move that one. And fly straight into town. Then you can start here. So you have two starting points in this region. With this one, you actually join the military. You go through their basic training. He has you go do the obstacle course, shoot arrows, go and suit up, prove yourself by going and killing a couple bears out in the wild, and then graduation day. And after you graduate, they let you know that their patrols through the Ridgewater Grove have been going missing for some reason. And they want you to head down to the fishing village and see what exactly is going on. So they'll have you go down here. They also want you to go ask over at the Myconoid village as well. We'll get to these quests in just a bit. Then you'll come back and report that they don't know anything, what's going on. And so, well, I guess we should go, this goes on down here. When you get down to the fishing village, they've even acknowledged that it's been a while since they've seen any patrols from the army here. Why don't you join us for the Tide Call? And the Tide Call is kind of like a little festival they have that is happening when to basically pray to the gods of the sea and hope for a good bounty of fish this year. They also ask you to stay a while and talk and maybe even kill a couple wolves and kill an alpha wolf that's been threatening the village. But in your time here, it's obviously not something we can implement in this game because of the limitations, but in that time you'd talk to the villagers and find out what's going on, if they've seen anyone, and they'd be like, no, we haven't seen anyone in a really long time. You could go and ask around the docks. And she has you go down to the tide row and ask around the docks and all the workers there. And she also asks you, while you're here, could you crack a few shells? And we actually have a new enemy, the hermit crabs. Well, they're not hermit crabs, they're actually germit crabs. So they have a little bit of poison they can do. They have a slam, a crush with their pincer, and a poison bubble that they can shoot out that does damage over time. Last thing she has is fetch you a net, and she basically repairs your net, and this is where you'd get the fishing skill, like if we could do fishing skills or trade skills in the game. Here at the blacksmith, you actually have, and I need to change his name, Kelroth Ironcap. Oh. I'll have to get rid of his nickname. And he'll teach you. Okay. Sorry about that. Popo was getting a little bit of an attention horn. Yes, you are. Still is. But yeah. They pretty much let you know that no, they haven't really seen anything. On your way back, you notice there's a small hut out there. There's some people. And this is about the area that reports of the missing recruits have been coming from. Coming up here or what? When you go to Spore Hollow, Spore Shade Hollow, he actually has they should be sleeping, saying that the bears are for some reason being hyper aggressive lately, and that maybe they had something to do with the disappearances. So you can go and check it out, and you don't find any dead bodies of recruits, but you do find strange growths on some of the bears. You bring them back. They let you know that you should send them over to those strange spores to the Spore and Mortar, and they'll check it out. And he asks you to get fresher samples, and they've heard of some strange boars nearby. This brings us over to here, where we get our infested boars. Now, with the spore-infested boars, they have a bunch of growths coming out of them. They have gore, they have a charge that is a ranged stun every 10 seconds. It does a little bit of damage. They have a spore cloud that's an AoE within melee that actually causes damage over time and weakness. And then level 4, we haven't given them a level 4 ability yet because I believe they're just level 2s. But you go out here and you also see these strange mushrooms are starting to grow and also infect some of the trees here. That shouldn't be happening. You bring back these fresh samples. And they let you know that something's not right. They ask you to find the source of these mushrooms that are spreading, and to end this dark ritual. As you can see, mushrooms are just starting to crawl out. There's a small, dark entryway full of these myconoid swarm druids. Druids who are disrupting the balance in nature. And they have a Venom Bolt Infest, which does damage over time and slows enemies, and then also a Spore Cloud as well. But their Spore Cloud drains health and mana from casters. Then for Dark Rituals, you have to come and destroy Kenyatta, the elite, the one who is controlling this. But I really enjoy how this kind of monster den and lair turned out, with all the mushrooms and fungus kind of growing out of the stone. And even on the side of the wall here, you can see it's littered with mushrooms starting to poke out. But with you destroying the leader of the Dark Ritual, the myconids back at Spore Shade Hollow will be able to tend to the forest and kind of put things back to normal. And that's kind of what this place has turned into. Now, the only other thing is that disappearance. When you get back from both of those towns and let them know that you saw kind of a strange building, they ask you to go look at it. Bring proof of death if you can find it. And that you do. You find some zombies and some skeletons and a necromancer Zog who has been slowly but surely building up a force to try and, well, first take out the village to increase the number of his undead before marching forward onto the capital. Under whose orders and why? Why have all these undead started popping up within the holy Sol-Andria kingdom? Also, we did take some time to actually name some stuff. So this island as a whole is the Solas Isles. The Solstice Ocean is this area here. It is an ocean. And then this is, of course, is all the Sol-Andrian kingdom. All of this with the capital being Portsole. And with all that being said, Ridgewater's done. The Gilded Fields needs a little bit of decorating and detailing done. We still haven't been able to build our fields yet, but we'll get there one day. And then, of course, I feel like we need to add more to the Evergreen Ridge, but I'm not sure. That leads me to the point that we are now at the point where the Sol-Andrian lowlands, we can return here and continue working on where we left off. But before that, we are going to add a brand new class. So we've put it off for quite a while. And we're going to build it from scratch. Now I know I want it to be mage or wizard type. I don't know what kind of mage or wizard we're going to make yet. Usually like trying to find a preset going from there. Maybe elves? Maybe something. We could do a lizard wizard. Lizard wizard does sound pretty funny. Let's make another. I do think we might go elf though. Possibly goblin? Goblin wizards? We'll actually probably use goblins as enemy types there? I'm not sure. Well, let's just start building and see what we come up with. See if we like what comes up. Well, that hat needs to be bigger. Indubitably. Let's see what else we got. Capybara wizard? That's a straight dragon head. Okay. Chicken wizard. Frog wizards. Okay, interesting. We could do Aarakocra wizards or bird people wizards. It's like an owl. No, but I do like that idea. Okay. Let's see. It's a good wizard robe. A caster robe. Definitely not that. That's a possibility. Might be able to make that work. You're a proper gentleman. I want to double check some things first. Okay, so he's got the loot backpack. I don't want to double use any chest pieces. Okay. I actually think we'll use this. I like that. Head, we're gonna go with the bird head. As funny as wizards are. We'll grab ourselves that monocle. So I really like the idea of the monocle. His head is way too big right now, though. Actually, torso. Let's take his bone skill to 1.4. 1.5. With the magic of speed. kind of like what we got here. The only problem is that when he moves, he'll be breaking through the cape. But when he stands there, he looks fucking great. So I think we are going to keep this. We're going to save it. We're going to call these guys Owlins? Owlin? It's a scientific name for owls, real quick. Strigiforms. Saying that correctly? We'll call them Strigs. Strig Mage. We're going to give them 20 HP. No rage. 30 mana. They will be a little bit slower. Call them Striggins. Striggin Mage. They're going to be a magic caster. So, with the abilities we end up giving it, for its first one is Arcane Bolt, which is a basic attack that ends up being an instant cast. We were playing around with the idea to make this a more cooldown and cast time kind of as their limiter, but we end up making the first ability an instant cast like everyone else, so everyone has a basic attack. Mainly, you'll see why in a little bit. But the second ability we end up giving them is Ray of Frost, and it's simply just a way to help them kite. Very much just shoot out a ray of cold-infused arcane energy, and we're kind of fluffing it all as they are infusing the arcane energy with different elements. And then we also end up giving them at level 2, a lightning bolt ability. I would do something more like a chain lightning or something like that later on as well, but we don't actually have that ability to implement something like that. We could do a small area sniper, which is probably what I'll end up doing later on. But for level 2, I figured just a straight lightning bolt that targets one enemy and does a decent amount of damage, especially starting off at level 2, will be good. The whole idea is that they are going to not really do a whole lot of status, but a lot of just raw area damage. But their casting time and their cooldowns are going to be what kind of holds back their DPS a little bit. And kind of hopefully we can meld that around to make it a more rounded out class. And then for the level 4 ability, well, just listen. And then level 4, we're going to give them Fireball. Because we gotta. Do we give them Fireball or like a Temporal Shift? Maybe Temporal Shift will be what they get at 10th. So I think they're gonna, each class is going to get like an ultimate ability at 10th level. For now, maybe a Fireball? Ice, Lightning. The Dragon kind of does. He's got Dragon's Breath. Kind of leading into the Fireball. What should his be? Do we do Fireball? It is a staple of a mage's repertoire to do Fireball. We shouldn't steal that from them, right? No. No, we shouldn't. That. Fireball. And because I'm really bad at explaining things as I'm doing them, I'm going to work on that, I promise. Fireball is going to be, instead of a spread it out like the Dragon's Breath does and burn them, it's just going to be one high amount of max damage with a high cast time and a larger area. That way it does a massive amount of damage, but is held back with that cast time so it can be stunned out of it. Maybe we take it down to 10 damage. Yeah. And there we have it. Our new Stricken Mage. Let's go to the new area and wait for one to pop in. And we'll get, and I apologize if I say this wrong, Cortado Semaru. I might have just butchered that. I'm horrible at pronunciations. We'll get him in as Rue the Magnificent. Why are they throwing a tantrum? We don't have unhappy players in our game. What are you talking about? There is no war in Ba Sing Se. Shouldn't have a grade yet, right? Are you mad about the class? Not yet. Give him a warning. Maybe that'll help him. Get him a little frustrated. Maybe we can fix it. Oh, nope. I'll just get rid of him. And here we go. Whoops, almost wrong. Wrong button. We now have Rue the Magnificent. We'll start then. Let's focus on him for a second. What is he doing? Not fighting very well, that's for sure. He is making some friends and socializing. We'll come back and check in on him later on. I'll let the class kind of come out and see how people like it. But now, we need to flesh out Sol-Andria and lowlands. And I think I got a couple ideas. We definitely need to do some detailing in here. Let's spread this out as well as build this marketplace. As well as quest givers. Now we do have a quest giver here, who literally is just going to have you tame the wildlife. And have you kill 5 bears. Rue, no, you died! No bueno. You know what we can do? Take control of Rue. These guys seem to be dying. These zombies quite a bit. The zombies too strong? They're level 1s, right? What's that range? Oh, that cast time is really fucking you. There we go. I think we need to do a couple things. One, get into the right menu. I think for the first ability, we give them the basic attack at an instant cast. I'll take it down to 2 damage. That way they're not stopping. Now let's try it out again. Oh, definitely. Way better. Let's get in range. Do we have mana? We do have the mana for it. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. We'll check him back in with him. So, the rest of this guy's quest is basically just going to be killing some wildlife and then going and visiting the city. Not to the sewer, not yet. Protecting the innocent. I don't actually think he's going to have you do that. I think he's going to then send you to the keep. Report to Rustborough. Keep. Yes. Be Rustborough. Keep. We did try to add some light to it. It kind of looks okay. We might get rid of it. I don't know. Now, dress this up a little bit. This area seems pretty empty, so we can probably do something here. Move this tree. To here. Oh, we have an upgrade. I've done a couple of these. We are at 4.4 of our game. I did a couple of these on stream yesterday. You can kind of see where we're at as far as stats go. We have plus 10 to combat, plus 10 to achievements, plus 24 to socializing, plus 12 to theme, and plus 12 to advertising. We're doing good on advertising. We're almost at 9,000 players. So I think we're going to go ahead and start getting our combat up. We'll hit that release. Let the new release of the game come out. Oh, someone just died. We also need to do something with this area here, which I think will actually add some farms here. And I will kind of want to use the idea of those combines that have kind of come to life, or mechanical combines that we've used for farming, have come to life and started to mess with the village. So I think we're going to have a couple farms actually. Have ourselves a nice little farmland area right here in the center. I don't think we'll put a farm on this side. No, no farm over here. I think we'll put a lumber yard here. We might build some more farms here. Right, I know we will. And then put the combiner quest all throughout. So I think before we wrap this episode up, we'll go ahead, go on to monsters, and make ourselves a little bit of a combiner. Some sort of robotic machine. Something that they've been kind of like a golem almost that they've been using to very much just like in Westfall in World of Warcraft. You can see him. I also want to make them a little bit bigger. See the... Oh, I fucked up. I will say, we really did a good job making this corn feel like you can get lost in it. That is a thick cornfield. And they blend in really well. Okay, that's terrifying. They are indeed in there. I'll put a big one. Right over by the lighthouse. Yeah, that's terrifying. Oh, I love it. I love it. But okay. And I believe that is where we will end today's episode. I know we only really made farms. We didn't really do a whole lot in the city today. We did go ahead and make a brand new class, our Strigan Mage. We also made sure and made a brand new monster as well, with the Harvesters. And those will be fun to play with and set up some quest for. As always, thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're still here. We appreciate it a whole lot. Thanks for stopping by at our arcade.